Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia and this is the summary for the day of 708 for the 1st of February. Frontline changes report. We have something very significant according to a geolocation in the northern part of Adievka. So there is this massive geolocation in the northern part of Adievka. The Russian forces is geolocated in these two locations, getting struck by Ukrainian FPV drones. And this is a significant development because it signifies that the Russian forces have actually progressed the entire way all the way down from the northern part into the northern part of Adievka. That means the battle of Adievka has now opened into two different fronts in a way into the battle within the city itself. So this is the Dacha region. This is like the holiday chalet or buildings or summer houses, and the Russian forces in the furthest geolocation is actually within the northern neighborhood. So the Russian forces basically quietly in the sense that there's no one reporting about this, to have progressed the entire northern part and entered the northern part of Adievka itself. And this geolocation is actually released by the Ukrainians, because this is a Ukrainian strike, but the FPV strike, and it was geolocated by Crimea Caprice, and this is significant development for Adievka. So now we have the Russians have basically entered Adievka city from two different directions, and the battle is now raging between these two areas. And this is actually looks like a pincer to me, right? Looks like the mouth, the teeth biting down. So it's going to be rather dangerous, particularly the northern one, because the route to enter Adievka is actually over here. This is the road in, and nearby over at Opitne we also have a geolocation. Sorry, this is wrong color. This is Russian forces getting hit by Ukrainian FPV drones. So similarly, this actually signifies that the Russian forces actually have taken this area here. So yeah, this invalidated a little bit of the Ukrainian claims and expanded the Russian claims in this area here. And this also may suggest corroborates with the previous geolocation that shows the Russians having this area. But of course, the Ukrainians still have not accepted that Zenit might be under Russian control. We will continue to monitor and see, whether we can have this corroboration. And so I saw a comment. I did reply to him. He said that why is my geolocation is all on Russian drones attacking Ukrainian positions? The reality is it's not. Every time there's a Russian forces being geolocated, it's almost always a FPV drone strike by the Ukrainians on the Russian forces. And usually these are drone strikes on infantry. And because it's on infantry, it's not really that significant in the sense that the Russians do FPV drone strike Ukrainian forces as well. So it's just that usually because you guys don't want the details, right? You guys just want the overall picture. So for example, for these two locations, I will just say that the Russian forces is geolocated here, which means the Russian forces have advanced in this area here. But what you don't see is that these two is actually Russian forces dying from a Ukrainian FPV strike. So while I talk a bit more on the Lancet strike, because the Lancet are hitting heavy equipments, and Ukrainians currently do not have much reinforcement or replenishment of these heavy equipments like artillery system, heavy armor, which is why it's more significant when the Lancets are hitting all these Ukrainian surface-to-air missile systems, the tanks, the artillery. So that is the difference, as particularly also talking about Kherson front, because in the Kherson front, there is nothing much happening except the Russians hitting Ukrainian assets that is actually supporting the operation at Krinky, which is why that is the main report that is being happening over here. In the rest of the front line, I've just generally go through highlighting that the Lancets are being used widespread right now. And so talking about Krinky, we have also some updates. The Ukrainian mapping have now shown a bit more details, with the Russian forces taking this area and this area of the Krinky region, with the Russian forces biting into the Ukrainian bridgehead over at Krinky, with a interesting little infiltration over at this area here, which is highlighted by the Ukrainian mapping, the Deep State UA's mapping, which is very interesting because in terms of detailing where is the Russian advance, there is this particular one that they there's this pop in that they particularly put it into their mapping. So they definitely have geolocated something over there to signify the Russian presence in that region. So this actually increased the accuracy of our DPS mapping in terms of the Krinky situation. The Ukrainians still have the beachhead, and tentatively the situation remains similar, and not much change in that sense. So another change is at Bodenivka. So the Ukrainian pushback continues with the Ukrainian forces capturing the entire of this major forest line with the geolocation of Ukrainian forces at this position, which means that the Russian claims that they have taken this area here is now invalidated. So the latest we have now is actually the Ukrainians actually retaking this entire area, as they got as I mentioned before, almost all geolocation is someone dying, which is usually FPV strikes, artillery strikes, and it's all the Russians or the Ukrainians showing off their victories. So when you see blue, it means someone on the blue side died. When you see red, someone on the red side died. This, but it just simply shows that the Russian or the Ukrainian forces is at that position. So at Georgievka, Georgievka is in the Marinka region on the western part of Donetsk city. Russian forces geolocated again Ukrainian FPV strike. So I just want to highlight, just to show that it is a fair geolocation as much as I can. Russian forces getting drone strike over this area here, but these are not infantry. These are actually armored vehicles. The Russian forces launched a major armored assault at this position. They push it to this area, and then they got struck by FPV drones while they are trying to fire at Ukrainian positions. It's unclear if the Russians are able to have a foothold in this position. Definitely, we're gonna keep this spike over here until we can invalidate this, since we geolocated Russian forces to be there, which means they are there, and until they are shown to be not there. So and then further south, over at Novomihailivka, there is Ukrainian forces getting hit, or maybe it's not Ukrainian forces getting hit, but there is a major strike, a Russian airstrike over in the southern part of Novomihailivka, hitting this position, and which means that the Ukrainian forces have retaken this. I think this is a transport hub or a farm. So the Ukrainian forces have retaken this position over some days ago, which we do not know when. And the Russian forces clearly is unable to hold that position because there is actually no good way of reinforcing that position other than going through the open road over here, which is then very easily can be destroyed if they are going down this road. So which is full of wreckage right now, actually, at this position. So these are the frontline changes. This is the frontline changes report. And we now go into the strategic and tactical reporting. If you want to watch the full uninterrupted SITREP all the way from the frontline changes to the strategic tactical report to the conclusions, all in one video with no advertisement, do support DPA on Patreon, Locals, Boosty, YouTube membership, and Coffee. Become a DPA sergeant, officer, and general, and you'll get access to a totally uninterrupted and no ads SITREP.